Stop being nice to a narcissist. Do this instead, inspired by the high energy, no BS transformational style you're looking for. Without mentioning any names, nice is a narcissist playground. Clarity is their kryptonite. Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Stop justifying their behavior with, they had a rough childhood, or maybe they didn't mean it like that. Narcissists thrive on your indecision. When you bring radical clarity to your life, clarity about what you stand for, what you will not tolerate, and who you are, suddenly their manipulation loses power. Clarity is a sword, and it cuts through the fog of confusion narcissists try to keep you in. Stop trying to be good enough. They will never let you win. You could be perfect. You could bend over backward. You could set yourself on fire to keep them warm, and it still wouldn't be enough. Because the game is rigged. The rules change the moment you get close to winning. Stop playing their game. Your job isn't to prove your worth to someone committed to never seeing it. Your job is to reclaim your self-respect and walk out of their circus. Replace people-pleasing with power-claiming. Being nice is often a trauma response, not a personality trait. You are conditioned to keep the peace, make others happy, and avoid rocking the boat. But with a narcissist, that doesn't earn peace. It earns control. Flip the switch. Replace people-pleasing with power-claiming. That means setting unapologetic boundaries, speaking uncomfortable truths, and choosing self-respect over fake harmony. Mirror their behavior? No. Master your boundaries instead. Don't waste your energy trying to teach a narcissist a lesson by acting like them. That just pulls you into their chaos. What you do instead is master the art of boundaries. Boundaries are not ultimatums. They are declarations of what you will and will not allow into your space. Boundaries are not meant to change them. They're meant to protect you. Silence is your superpower. Use it like a weapon. You don't owe a narcissist an explanation. You don't owe them your defense, your justifications, or your attention. Every time you respond to their bait, you feed their ego. Try silence. Watch how they spiral when you stop performing for them. Your silence is not weakness, it's control, it's self-command, and it's devastating to someone who relies on your reaction to feel powerful. Shift from emotion to strategy. Get tactical, not triggered. Narcissists bait you into reacting emotionally so they can regain the upper hand. But what happens when you stop reacting and start strategizing? You move from prey to predator. You stop playing defense and start playing offense. This doesn't mean becoming cruel. It means becoming calculated. Step back, breathe, detach, and plan your moves with precision. Power is not emotional. Power is intentional. Walk away without the closure, because you are the closure. You keep trying to have that one last conversation, that one final moment where they admit they were wrong. Stop. That moment is never coming. Narcissists don't give closure because they want to keep the door cracked open, but you don't need their permission to close it. You don't need their validation to heal. You are the closure. You are the final chapter. Turn the page. Nice is a narcissist playground. Clarity is their kryptonite. You've been told your whole life that being nice is a virtue, that kindness will always win, that if you just stay patient, understanding, and forgiving, people will eventually come around. But here's the truth. When you're dealing with a narcissist, your niceness is a loaded weapon pointed at your own head. They don't see your kindness as compassion. They see it as compliance. They don't hear your soft voice and think, what a good person. They hear, I can walk all over this one. Narcissists are not confused. They're not unaware. They're not lost little children looking for love. They are predators of energy, masters of manipulation, and experts in the art of subtle destruction. And your niceness becomes their green light. It gives them permission to keep gaslighting you, to keep invalidating your emotions, to keep rewriting reality until you don't know which way is up. If you want to stop that cycle, you don't need to get mean. You need to get clear. Clarity is your sword. It cuts through the emotional fog they wrap around your head like a blindfold. It slices through the excuses, the lies, the pity plays, but you don't understand what I've been through stories. Clarity is not rude. Clarity is not aggressive. But clarity is the one thing a narcissist cannot manipulate. When you are clear about who you are, what you deserve, and what you will no longer tolerate, you become untouchable. The reason narcissists keep winning is because you keep doubting yourself. You keep going back to old tapes in your head. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I should give them one more chance. You're operating in confusion, and confusion is where they thrive. You don't need to think more. You need to decide. Decide that your peace is more important than their approval. Decide that your truth is more sacred than their comfort. And when you get crystal clear on your values, your standards, and your boundaries, everything changes. You stop reacting and you start responding. You stop explaining yourself and you start enforcing your reality. You no longer negotiate with emotional terrorists. You become the authority of your life. That clarity doesn't push people away. It filters out the ones who were never supposed to be there in the first place. You want to know how to break the narcissist's control? Step one, stop apologizing for being clear. Stop apologizing for your standards. Stop apologizing for your gut instincts, your emotional needs, your truth. Clarity is not cruelty. Boundaries are not betrayal. You're not the villain for finally saying no more. You're the hero for finally waking up. You've been gaslit into believing that your clarity is cold, that your honesty is harsh, that your truth is toxic. But guess what? That's their projection. They fear your clarity because it exposes their illusion. Narcissists build empires on smoke and mirrors. The moment you turn the lights on, their kingdom crumbles. Let it. Watch it fall. And don't run back to the rubble. You weren't born to live in ruins. Being nice kept you safe once. It helped you survive. But now it's keeping you small. It's keeping you silent. It's keeping you in rooms where you are constantly being drained and disrespected. You don't need to burn down the world to be free, but you do need to stop setting yourself on fire just to keep other people comfortable. Clarity is how you stop the fire. Clarity is how you rebuild. Start by asking yourself, what do I really want? What am I pretending not to see? What have I been tolerating that is slowly killing my spirit? These questions are not for comfort, they're for liberation. They are surgical, they cut deep. And in that depth, you find your truth. And when you find your truth, you find your power. You cannot change someone who benefits from keeping you confused. You cannot heal someone who's committed to harming you. But you can choose yourself. You can choose truth over fantasy. You can choose clarity over chaos. That choice might be painful at first, but it's the pain of breaking chains, not the pain of staying in bondage. A narcissist will never say, "Thank you for holding me accountable." They'll never say, "I appreciate your clarity." What they will say is, "You've changed. You're so cold now. You're selfish. You're overreacting." And that's when you know you're winning. That's when you know the spell is breaking. Don't fall for their final act. Don't cave when the mask slips. Stand firm in your clarity and let their delusions collapse. You're not here to be a doormat. You're not here to be the emotional punching bag for someone else's unhealed wounds. You're here to rise. And rising requires clarity. Rising demands that you stop waiting for someone to validate your pain and start acting like your healing matters more than their approval, because it does. No more maybe I misunderstood. No more maybe I'm too sensitive. No more maybe it's my fault. The only maybe you need now is maybe it's time to take your life back. And the only way to do that is with the sword of truth in one hand and the shield of clarity in the other. You don't need revenge. You don't need an apology. You need clarity. And once you get it, everything changes. The fog lifts, the chains drop, and for the first time in a long time, you can finally breathe. Stop trying to be good enough. They will never let you win. Let's rip the mask off the lie that's been running your life. If I could just be better, they'd finally love me. You've been stuck in that loop, twisting yourself into shapes that don't even resemble who you are, all to earn the approval of someone who has no intention of ever giving it. Because here's what they'll never tell you. It's not about how good you are. It's about keeping you locked in a game where they always win and you always lose. You could say the right thing, do the right thing, show up, over-deliver, self-sacrifice, bend your values, silence your voice, and they'd still find a flaw, still find a way to say that wasn't good enough. And here's the kicker, they do it on purpose. Because the moment you actually feel worthy, the moment you finally stand tall, you're no longer controllable. And that terrifies them. You think they don't notice how hard you try? They do. You think they don't see how much pain you're in? They see it. But they're not trying to relieve it, trying to feed off it. That ache in your chest, that constant feeling of never measuring up, that's not love, that's manipulation. That's how they keep you coming back, starving for a crumb of approval they'll never give. You're stuck in a trauma economy where your currency is performance and your reward is more emptiness. You keep thinking maybe next time they'll see my heart. But that's not a relationship, it's a trap. A narcissist isn't looking for love, they're looking for worship. They're not looking for connection, they're looking for control. And the more you strive to win them over, the more they tighten the leash. Let's be real, how many times have you caught yourself walking on eggshells, editing your words, second-guessing your feelings, apologizing just to keep the peace? That's not peace, that's prison. And the walls are built with your own fear of not being enough. But guess what? You were already enough before they showed up. It just convinced you otherwise so they could stay in power. You don't need to be better for them, you need to be better to yourself. Because that version of you that keeps overgiving, over-apologizing, over-performing, that version isn't empowered, it's enslaved. You've got to stop trying to win a game designed for you to lose. Narcissists change the rules the second you get close to winning, so the only way to win is to stop playing. There's a version of you that remembers who the hell you are, a version of you that doesn't beg for love but demands respect, a version of you that doesn't explain your worth, it embodies it. But that version is buried under years of trying to please someone who benefits from your pain. It's time to dig that version out, not with more niceness, not with more perfectionism, but with raw, radical self-acceptance. You've been living in emotional debt, trying to repay a bill you never owed. Every time you said, maybe if I try harder, you reinforced the lie that it was your fault. But it's not your fault that they can't love. It's not your fault that they twist your words, ignore your needs, or punish your vulnerability. It was never about you being enough. It was always about them needing you to believe you weren't. What happens when you stop trying to be good enough? You get dangerous in the best way. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking. You stop hoping they'll finally see your value, and you start walking in it. They might call you selfish. They might call you arrogant, but that's just code for, I can't control you anymore. If you keep chasing approval from a narcissist, you'll die a slow emotional death. Your spirit chipped away one disappointment at a time. But if you choose self-worth, if you plant your flag in the truth that you are already worthy, you don't need their applause, you don't need their love bombs, you don't need their fake validation, because you've already crowned yourself. This is your turning point. This is the line in the sand. No more performing for people who wouldn't clap even if you burned yourself alive on stage. No more hoping for scraps. No more justifying your pain just to maintain a connection that's killing you. This is where you trade performance for power. Will it hurt to stop? Absolutely. Withdrawal from narcissistic abuse is like detox. It's painful, it's disorienting, but what's on the other side? Freedom, peace, confidence. The ability to walk into a room and not wonder if you're too much or not enough. The ability to simply be. Without performing, without proving, without apologizing. The goal was never to be good enough for someone broken. The goal is to realize you already are good enough and always were. The only thing left to do now is act like it. Replace people pleasing with power claiming. You were taught to be a good person, to be agreeable, to be likable, but somewhere along the way that turned into a prison. You stopped knowing where your needs ended and other people's demands began. You became a shapeshifter, a chameleon, a peacekeeper, not because you're weak, because you are trying to survive. But survival isn't enough anymore. It's time to stop pleasing and start leading. People pleasing is not kindness, it's self-abandonment. It's the art of making everyone else comfortable while you sit in silent misery. It's smiling when you want to scream. It's saying yes when every cell in your body is begging you to say no. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, that instinct gets weaponized. They know exactly how to twist your desire to be liked into a leash around your neck. You think being nice will protect you from their rage? It won't. You think avoiding conflict will stop the drama? It doesn't. People pleasing doesn't bring peace, it breeds resentment. It creates a split inside you. The part that plays nice to keep things together and the part that's silently breaking. That war will eat you alive until you choose you. Narcissists don't respect people pleasers, they exploit them. They see your willingness to bend and twist and sacrifice as weakness. They see your compliance as consent. They don't stop because you're polite. They stop when you become powerful. That shift happens when you decide, I'm not responsible for their comfort anymore. I'm responsible for my healing. Let's be clear. Replacing people-pleasing doesn't mean becoming rude. It means becoming real. It means you stop living on autopilot trying to keep everyone happy and start checking in with your own damn soul. What do I want? What do I need? What do I feel? You stop living as a reaction to everyone else and start living as a reflection of your truth. Power claiming is not loud, it's not aggressive, it's quiet, calm, and unshakable. It's when you say no and don't explain why. It's when you walk away from chaos instead of arguing for your worth. It's when you speak your truth, even if your voice trembles. Because your power doesn't come from their response. It comes from your decision to stop betraying yourself. When you stop trying to be liked, a whole new world opens up. You start building boundaries instead of bridges to people who've shown they'll burn you. You start honoring your energy instead of pouring it into emotional black holes. You stop seeking validation and start embodying it. And suddenly the narcissist has no control over you because their approval is no longer your currency. The moment you stop people pleasing, the narcissist will panic. They'll call you selfish, cold, disloyal. That's not a warning, it's a confirmation. It means you've disrupted the cycle. You've stepped off the stage of their emotional theater, and now they've lost their favorite actor. Don't go back just to make them feel better. Let them sit in the silence they created. Power claiming means you stop editing yourself to fit inside other people's comfort zones. You stop minimizing your brilliance to avoid their jealousy. You stop apologizing for your feelings, your dreams, your needs. This isn't arrogance. This is healing. This is resurrection. This is finally stepping into the role you were born to play, not the one you were manipulated into. You want to know how to make a narcissist irrelevant? Stop performing. Stop dancing for their approval. Stop letting their moods dictate your worth. When you stand in your power, you become untouchable. Not because you fight them harder, but because you no longer need them, and they can feel that shift. Trust me, they feel it. You've spent so much of your life trying to keep others comfortable that you've forgotten how to be honest. Honest with yourself, honest with the world. It's time to remember, you don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe anyone your submission. You owe yourself the life you were born for, a life on your terms, powered by your truth. There's a version of you on the other side of this, the you who doesn't apologize for existing, the you who says no without guilt, the you who doesn't check the room before speaking your truth. That version isn't a fantasy, it's who you really are, once you peel off all the people-pleasing armor that never protected you anyway. You've been trying to keep the peace, but the truth is, you are the storm. And the moment you stop people-pleasing, that storm becomes your revolution. Let it rage. Let it tear down everything that was never built on truth, and from that rubble rise. Mirror their behavior? No. Master your boundaries instead. There's a lie that sounds like power, but it's really just pain talking. If they can treat me like that, then I'll treat them the same way. It's tempting, isn't it? You think maybe if you mirror their behavior, be cold, manipulative, dismissive, they'll finally get a taste of their own medicine. But here's the truth. When you mirror narcissists, you don't beat them at their game. You become a prisoner in it. You don't reclaim your power by matching their dysfunction. You reclaim your power by choosing clarity over chaos, truth over tactics, and boundaries over battles. Narcissists don't change because you out-manipulate them. They change their target. You don't win by stooping to their level. You win by rising above their games and refusing to play them at all. Let's be clear. This isn't about being passive. This is about being precise. You don't respond with silence to avoid conflict. You respond with boundaries to enforce reality. You're not avoiding the narcissist to play games. You're disengaging because your energy is sacred. You don't ignore their cruelty to pretend it's okay. You call it out once and then take action. Without yelling, without drama, with finality. Narcissists thrive on reaction. Whether it's praise or rage, as long as you're emotionally hooked, they're still running the show. But when you shift from reaction to regulation, from giving them a piece of your mind to giving yourself peace of mind, they lose their grip. You're no longer a puppet in their theater. You're the one holding the curtain rope. And you're done with the show. Mastering boundaries isn't about punishment. It's about protection. Your boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're filters to keep the wrong ones from getting in again. A narcissist will always push, test, and violate your limits because to them, limits are challenges. But once you master your boundaries, you stop explaining them. You start enforcing them with calm, with clarity, with zero apology. You don't need to raise your voice to raise your standards. You don't need to mirror their toxicity to show you're strong. Your strength is in your restraint. Your power is in your peace. It takes more guts to walk away than it does to lash out. The narcissist wants you off-center, emotionally scrambled, reactive. But when you master your boundaries, you become an emotional fortress. No entry without permission. And yes, they will rage against that. They'll accuse you of being unreasonable, cold, or crazy. Let them, because that's their tantrum at losing control. And that's your sign that the boundary is working. When you hold the line and they lose access to your emotions, your time, your forgiveness, they start to crumble. Not because you attack them, but because you finally stop feeding them. You see, a narcissist doesn't just want control. They want confusion. Confusion keeps you doubting yourself. Mastered boundaries eliminate confusion. They're firm, they're clear, and they don't change depending on the narcissist's mood. That stability doesn't just protect you, it reprograms you. Every time you uphold a boundary, you send a message to your subconscious. I matter, my peace matters, my truth matters. There will be moments when holding that boundary feels like you're losing everything. You're not. You're shedding everything that was never really yours, every fake apology, every temporary peace, every twisted narrative that kept you dancing around their dysfunction. Let it fall away. It's not the collapse of your world. It's the birth of your real one. You are not here to fix people who enjoy breaking you. You are not here to prove your worth to someone who benefits from your insecurity. You are here to rise, and boundaries are the ladder. Every firm no is a step out of hell. Every line you draw is a brick in the foundation of your future. You're not being difficult, you're being deliberate. This isn't a one-time act, it's a lifestyle. Mastering boundaries isn't something you do to handle a narcissist, it's something you do to honor yourself. It's a daily declaration. I refuse to betray myself for the comfort of another. You'll feel resistance, guilt, even fear. That's normal. You've been trained to abandon yourself. But each time you choose differently, you heal another layer of that training. So no, don't mirror them. Don't stoop. Don't play their game. That's not your way. You're not here to mimic manipulation. You're here to model mastery. Let them spin their web alone. You've got bigger things to build, like your peace, your purpose, and a life that no longer revolves around trying to survive someone else's chaos. Because when you stop trying to match their behavior and start mastering your boundaries, you stop being a victim of their story and start becoming the author of your own. And that's the moment you stop surviving and start soaring. Take back the pen. Stop letting a narcissist write your story. Let's get one thing straight. If you let a narcissist narrate your life, they'll write you as the villain in your own story, or worse, the background character in theirs. That's what they do. They hijack your truth, twist your identity, and shrink your voice so they can feel big. But there comes a moment, a breaking point, when you stop handing them the pen and start rewriting the script yourself. You weren't born to live inside someone else's version of who you're supposed to be. You weren't born to be the scapegoat, the emotional punching bag, the disposable backup when they run out of supply. That was the role they cast you in. You're not meant to survive in their story. You're meant to thrive in yours. But that won't happen as long as you're letting them define your character. Think about it. How many of your choices have been influenced by trying to avoid their disapproval? How many of your dreams have you delayed just to keep the peace? How many times have you bit your tongue, downplayed your strength, or made yourself smaller so they wouldn't feel threatened? That's not your life. That's their control script, and you've been living in it. They will rewrite history right in front of you, gaslight you into doubting your reality. They'll call your strength aggression, your boundaries betrayal, your truth manipulation, not because it is, but because it threatens their illusion. And here's the brutal truth. The longer you let them narrate, the more your real self disappears behind their version of you. But there's a powerful moment, a sacred one, when something inside you wakes up, when the pain of staying silent becomes louder than the fear of being seen. And in that moment, you reach for the pen. Shaking, bleeding, and maybe even terrified, but you reach, and when you do, you take back something no narcissist can survive, your voice. You see, your story isn't what they say about you. It's what you decide to believe about yourself. Your story is made in the moments you say no more, in the nights you cry, then rise, in the seconds you speak even when your voice shakes. You don't rewrite your life by shouting louder. You rewrite it by no longer allowing their words to be gospel. Taking back the pen means telling the truth, not the edited version, the real truth about what they did, about how it made you feel, about what it cost you to keep pretending it was okay. You stop gaslighting yourself. You stop minimizing the damage. You stop carrying shame for wounds they inflicted, because your healing begins where your silence ends. And here's the thing. They won't like it. The moment you take back the pen, they'll accuse you of being dramatic, ungrateful, making things up. Of course they will, because they know your truth exposes their mask. Your story in full color, with all the pain and power, breaks the spell they've cast on your life. That's why they want it buried. But you're here to publish it. You want to reclaim your power? Start narrating your own journey. Speak it, write it, live it, not for revenge, but for redemption. Not to destroy them, but to resurrect you. You don't owe them your silence. You owe yourself freedom. And that begins with the radical decision to tell your story in your voice by your rules for your healing. Taking back the pen means taking back your identity. You're not broken. You're not too emotional. You're not difficult. You're not hard to love. You were simply surrounded by someone who needed you to believe those lies to keep you compliant. You get to decide who you are now, not based on their criticism, but based on your truth. So write your strength into every chapter. Write your pain with honesty, your resilience with pride. Let the pages bleed if they need to, but make them yours. Own the whole journey. The parts where you were lost, the moments you felt destroyed, the rise from the ashes. That's the story people need. That's the story you need. The greatest rebellion against a narcissist is not confrontation, it's creation. You creating a life that no longer revolves around their moods, their lies, their chaos. You creating peace, boundaries, joy, love without them. Because when you take back the pen, you stop waiting for closure and start building your future. You are not a victim in their drama anymore. You are the author of your comeback. So grab the damn pen and write like your life depends on it, because it does. Take your power back and embrace your freedom. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to take a moment and let these truths sink deep into your bones. You are not a prisoner to anyone else's narrative. You are not defined by the chaos that surrounded you or the toxicity that tried to claim your spirit. You are a warrior of your own life, a creator of your destiny. Every single lesson you've learned, every wound you've healed, every boundary you've set has led you to this very moment, a moment where you stand ready to take back your power and reclaim your life. You've learned that being nice doesn't mean sacrificing your self-respect. You've discovered that the need for approval from a narcissist will only leave you feeling empty and small. You've realized that people-pleasing is not a virtue, but rather a prison that limits your potential. You've embraced the truth that mastering your boundaries is not only essential, it's liberating. And you've taken the pen back, deciding once and for all to write your own story, not as a background character, but as the hero of your own epic tale. This journey is not just about survival, it's about thriving. It's about recognizing that your voice matters, that your feelings matter, that you matter. You have the power to rewrite your story, to change the narrative, and to step into the life you were always meant to lead. So let today mark the day when you stop living in the shadows of someone else's expectations and start shining in your own light. I challenge you to take a stand today and every day after. Be unapologetic in your pursuit of peace. Be fierce in your commitment to your boundaries. Be relentless in your quest for your truth. You are not just reclaiming your power, you are unleashing it. You are stepping into the fullness of who you are, and you are saying to the world, I am here, I am worthy, and I am not afraid. Your past does not define your future. Your struggles do not dictate your strength. Every time you assert yourself, every time you speak your truth, you dismantle the control of the narcissist and redefine your worth. You are the author of your story, and now it's time to write the next chapter with courage, conviction, and an unyielding belief in yourself. So let's go out there and make the choice. Choose you, choose your peace, choose your happiness. You've got the pen, now write your destiny. Feel free to tweak or modify any part of the conclusion to make it resonate even more with your vision. Let me know if you need further assistance or additional elements for your speech.